Insurance Company. Since 1957, Terrio Dewey and Terrio has been helping customers find the best coverage and price for their home, auto, and flood insurance. Terrio.
You lot. It is your girl Rachel, and we are back at North Shore Studios for another Friday night of DX Central Live. It's lovely to have you with us. We've got a massive show tonight, from right triangle terminated loops to pull in the DX to RDS loggers that can seemingly hear through a brick wall. Let's set the mood with some classic Heartland soul. This is The Bleed Through.
Trying to tell me that the world is small, but I'm
we just talk about the frequency challenge for a moment? Rotaka, nearly 2,000 logs in a single week. You know, honestly, you lot are making the Google Sheet sweat with all of those logs. If you've got some new catches to share from that list, get those shout-outs in now. The link is pinned right at the top of the chat, and we want to hear every bit of what you are hearing. Let's keep the energy high with this next one, a little 90s groove called Needle on the Pin.
I've been awake for 48, watching the carrier pass the gate. My eyes are red, my coffee's cold. I'm looking for the story that's never been told. The local noise is a heavyweight, but I'm standing here at the garden gate, checking the wires and the copper ground, waiting for the sky to make a sound. The needle on the pin is starting to spin. Let the long distance finally begin. Knock on the wood and hope for the best. The radio world is the ultimate test. I'm not a gambler, but I'll take the bet. I haven't heard the best station yet. AM, FM, the whole wide band, in the palm of a steady hand. The needle on the pen is starting to spin. Let the long distance finally begin. Knock on the wood and hope for the best. The radio world is the ultimate test. Is the ultimate test.
Short and sharp, just like my morning coffee. Speaking of the challenge, if you're sitting there wondering how to get in on the action, it's actually very easy. Just head over to dxchallenges.com to register. Yeah, you don't want to be the only one left on the ground wave when the skip starts jumping. Now let's take this global with a bit of Miami Heat and Mr. Worldwide Frequencies.
Right from the 305 to the 504. I'm kicking in the station door. I don't need a passport, I don't need a plane. I'm riding on the skip, I'm going insane. From Havana to the coast of Spain, I'm catching a signal, I'm feeling no pain. AM, FM, worldwide. Open up the squelch, let's take a ride. The E-layer's jumping, the speakers are pumping. The S-meter's red, the local is nothing. I'm chasing the ghost, from the coast to the coast. DXing the most, let's have a toast. We go worldwide, across the sky, catching the wave as it passes by. From the city heat to the ocean blue, the DX signal is coming for you.
club vibes there. Quick one for you lot, if you're loving what we're doing here, you can really help us keep the antennas in the air. Just head over to patreon.com/DXCentral to sign up as a patron. It makes a massive difference to the work we do around here, and you get early access to videos, podcast episodes, exclusive patron-only live streams and Zoom calls, and not to mention, it keeps the coffee pot full for Lloyd for all of his late-night sessions in the studio. Let's slow it down a touch for some of the finest krautrock you will hear this side of the Autobahn. Here is Ich höre Radio. One on repeat for days around here. I am starting to hear Z Germans in my sleep. Now keep those ears open because we're hearing whispers of some lovely troppo sneaking about this weekend. Just in time for our newest RDS autologger to show off its amazing ears. It's number 4 in the flea and it's already on the hunt. One more for the party. Before I hand over the keys, this one is proper weird, but I love it. Coil Hum Crescendo.
Deep in the basement, near the copper pipe, the signal is rotten, it's never quite right. I've got the filters, I've got the leads, but the 60 cycle demon is all that it breeds. It's a ground loop in the soup, running in the circle like a frantic hoop. The VFD from the neighbor's fan is ruining the life of a radio man. The copper coil hum, beating like a drum, looking for the quiet, but the noise is never dumb. It's a buzz, it's a whine, crawling up and down my electric spine. Light. 1, 2, 2, 3, 60. 1, 2, 3, 60. 1, 2, 3, 60. 1, 2, 3, 60. I'm burying the rod in the frozen mud. I'm pouring out the water to stop the RFI, the ghost in the wall, waiting for the tower to finally fall. The copper coil hum, beating like a drum, looking for the quiet, but the noise is never dumb. It's a buzz, it's a whine, crawling up and down my electric spine.
All right, my loves, that is me done for the night. But don't you dare wander off. Get those shout-outs in. Just tap that link pinned at the top of the chat. And make sure you're registered at dxchallenges.com so you can jump in on our current frequency challenge. A huge thank you to our patrons in Studio C for all the support. You can join them at patreon.com/dxcentral. A massive shout out to our sponsors, the International Radio Club of America at ircaonline.org, the National Radio Club at nationalradioclub.org, and the Spectrum Monitor magazine at thespectrummonitor.com. Up next is our mate Mark Monroe, who is currently poring over forecast maps trying to get a jump start on the upcoming Tropo opening here on the Gulf South. Enjoy the countdown, my loves. See you next week.
Thank you, Rachel, and good evening, DXers, wherever the ionosphere finds you tonight. This is Mark Monroe, and we have just under 10 minutes remaining. The Frequency Challenge has seen unprecedented activity this week with nearly 2,000 logs recorded. It is a significant milestone for the community, even if it has resulted in some questionable sleep patterns. Which brings me to our first track, which, while the title is quite a mouthful, The sentiment is accurate. This one is called And You May Want to Get Cozy. We will be here a while. There's a good reason these frequencies are corrupting my sleep schedule.
Standing in the corner of a darkened room with a soldering iron and a sense of impending doom, and I'm tracing the lines of a copper-clad design while the neighbors are sleeping and the stars are all aligned. It's a bit of a habit or a bit of a vice to listen to the whispers and to ignore the advice of the people who tell me that the static is just noise, but they've never felt the kinetic, aesthetic, magnetic joy. So the S-meter is dancing like a debutante at a ball, and the ionosphere is reflecting the rise and the fall of a carrier wave that's been traveling since 1984. And I'm begging the heavens to give me just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And we're tuning out the world to find a station in the sky. It's a beautiful obsession, and I'm never gonna die in the middle of the spectrum where the frequencies collide. We've got the magic of the signal on our side. I've got a pocket full of crystals and a heart full of skill. I'm taking a vacation on a long distance trip. 1, 2, 3. So keep the tubes glowing and the fader pushed high while we're hunting for the ghosts that are passing us by. AM, the whole wide band is a theatrical masterpiece in the palm of my hand. We're tuning out the world to find a station in the sky. It's a beautiful obsession, and I'm never gonna die in the middle of the spectrum where the frequencies collide. We've got the magic of the signal on our
Pacing is everything in a challenge like this one. Be sure to leave some energy for a strong finish at the end of the month. We are discussing antennas tonight, such as the terminated right triangle for medium wave. It is an elegant solution to a complex problem. If you haven't submitted your shoutouts yet, I suggest you do so before the fader goes up in Studio A by hitting the link pinned at the top of the chat. Let's keep things moving with an absolutely beautiful track called The Sudden Bloom.
The dial is a garden of grey and silver weeds. I'm planting all the whispers like tiny secret seeds, waiting for the winter to lose its heavy hold, watching for a story that's never been told. A flicker in the shadows,
a light behind the veil. The ionosphere is breathing a long and distant trail.
the voltage is rising, the wires start to glow. I can feel the music beginning to grow. And the signal blooms like a flower in the dark, igniting all the silence deep horizon to the center of the soul. The melody is broken, but the rhythm is whole. I'm gathering the petals of a faraway station, finding the beauty in the modulation. And the signal blooms like a flower in the dark, igniting all the silence with the golden spark. Ring out, let the frequencies rise, a garden of voices underneath the sky. Underneath the skies, underneath the skies.
Just a few minutes until showtime. The new RDS autologger is synchronized, and the Tropo forecast suggests a busy weekend ahead for those of you on the Gulf Coast region. By the way, registration is still open at dxchallenges.com, so you can jump into our frequency challenge that runs through the end of the month if you have the stamina for it. Our final track is for the late night noise floor hunters. This one is Thermal Noise.
4 a.m. and I'm wide awake. I got a signal that I cannot take. The noise floor is hitting the roof. I'm looking for high proof. The refrigerator is humming a tune. I'm howling at the digital moon. The power lines are screaming in my ear. There's nothing but the static I hear. Thermal noise in my brain, driving me completely insane. Filter it out, turn it up loud. I'm the king of a digital cloud. I found the carrier hidden in the mud. I got the radio in my blood. It's a DX hunt, and I'm the hound. I'm digging deep in the underground. Thermal noise in my brain, driving me completely insane. Filter it out, turn it up loud. I'm the king of a digital cloud.
That'll do it. The music may stop, but the DX deep dive begins. We head now to Studio A, where Lloyd is standing by and ready to start the show. Right after a word from our sponsors.
DX Central Live is brought to you in part by
The International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS-HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com. For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org.
Can't get enough DX? Then the DX Central From the Static podcast is for you. Take DX Central on the go and listen to episodes from DX Central Live, interviews with prominent members of the DX community, tips, tricks, how-tos, your DX memories and stories. And that's just the start. You can find the From the Static podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Listen Notes, or anywhere you get podcasts, or by visiting FromTheStatic.net. That's FromTheStatic.net. For stories, signals, and voices from across the airwaves, don't miss the DX Central From the Static podcast.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
All right, settle down, settle down. Today we are continuing our unit on geometry, specifically focusing on the right triangle. Now, it seems most of you like to spend your weekends DXing and building terminated loops. I thought this might actually hold your interest. Can anyone tell me about the most important part of a right triangle? The hypotenuse?
They are really big, sir. You can find them in Africa wallowing in the mud.
No, that's a hippopotamus.
Wait, isn't a hypotenuse when you make an educated guess about why the noise floor is so high?
No, you're thinking of a hypothesis.
I know. It's when you get too cold standing outside in the snow trying to prune your elements.
That's hypothermia. We are talking about the longest side of a triangle opposite the right angle.
Oh, the part where we put the terminating resistor? Because if the math is wrong, the front to back ratio is going to be a disaster, Professor.
We aren't calculating the front to back ratio. We are calculating a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Is that the formula for how many radios you can buy before your girlfriend or parents finds out?
That is Pythagoras. And no, that formula doesn't exist.
Professor, I think I have a hypotension headache from all these numbers.
That's hypertension, and I'm the one getting it. Look, if you have a right triangle antenna with a 30-foot vertical support and a 40-foot base, how long is the wire for the slope?
Depends, sir. Is it stranded copper or aluminum? And are we accounting for the velocity factor of the insulation?
You know what? Class dismissed. Go home. Go tune your radios. I'm going to go lie down in a dark room.
It's a Friday night. Lloyd in the North Shore setting frequencies right. AM and FM, the airwaves collide. DX Central Live, where the signals can't hide. Tuning in the static, chasing down the sounds. Every Every single signal is magic we have found. All radios hum, the chatters all agree. DX Central Live is the place to be. Folks in the chat, shout out your call. From east to west, we're breaking down the walls. It's the magic of the night, where frequencies fly. Join us now on DX Central Live.
From the Gulf South
to your corner of the world,
this is DX Central Live.
now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
From the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana, we are in Studio A, bringing you Season 6, Episode 24 of DX Central Live. Down to the last 7 or so, including tonight, before we'll wrap up the season. It's been a fun week, and you guys are, as usual, right? I'm not surprised by this. You're usually out there just absolutely crushing it. Like, that's the normal thing that y'all do when we have a challenge, is y'all crush it. But this week, so we're in the midst of the frequency challenge, and I posed the mission. 3 logs per frequency for the main standard band, 2 logs per frequency for the expanded band, between now and the end of March. And you guys are absolutely just annihilating it. Almost 2,000 logs. We're sitting at just under 2,000 logs right now, looking at the dashboard. And that's in 1 week. So, there he is. So I'm really impressed with what you guys are doing on the challenge this week. And what we have ahead of us for the next couple of weeks to finish up that challenge. And then doing some planning and some kind of thinking about what I want to do for the last probably 2 challenges that we'll have to wrap up the season. Because we're going to probably wrap everything up challenge-wise by the last week, before the last week of April. And then our last show of the year, which we'll have on May 1st, will be kind of our look back, our celebration, our launch of the Summer of DX Challenge and all that will come with that, and so forth. So some fun stuff ahead for us. We've got a lot to talk about tonight, and we have some interesting things that I've been kind of working on here behind the scenes that I want to share with you guys. First off, I want to talk about, you kind of heard the little skit we had there, the right angle loop, the right triangle loop. This was a social media post that I saw our friend Bruce Conti up in New Hampshire. He put up on social media, Facebook and whatnot, and it's a kind of a variation of a delta terminated loop antenna, but it's turned on its side and kind of made into a right angle on the termination side, and it comes down to a point on the feed line side. And so I have really thought, I was like, man, I really want to make that work here. I don't have the real estate here to be able to pull it off because of the way that our angles are with our trees and stuff like that. I don't have any good paths that's not already being served by another antenna, stuff like that. But I want to share it with you guys because this may be an opportunity for you to have a good terminated loop antenna if you want to try one out and you want to have that nice big 40-foot vertical. You have a way to do it like a 40-foot vertical by 60-foot horizontal. This could be a way for you to get a really nice terminated loop antenna in a specific direction and get some nulls on the backside to kind of null those down. So we're going to talk about that. We set up a AM web server on the TEF platform, the FMDX web server, that we got like 3 of those right now. Well, I set up one for our challenge this week for me to do a non-SDR DX. I set up one for me for AM using my portable DP666 radio. So I want to be able to DX off of that, but I don't want to have to sit there and just kind of tune with it this way. I want to still use my computer interface so I can change frequencies, so I can record audio if I wanted to, and do some of those different things. So we're going to look at that tonight. A lot of our DX tonight is going to be on that, actually. We have also coming up in hour 2, we're going to be looking at Tropo. FM season is starting to to percolate a little bit. It always starts with tropo on the Gulf Coast and the Atlantic Coast and kind of the Great Lakes area. So we start seeing these kind of coastal areas getting into tropo season, and that's what kind of segues from there into sporadic east season. And now we're starting to see that tropo engine start to churn a bit. So we're going to look at the forecast and talk about what we had the last couple of days and what we have coming up the next couple of days for a lot of folks in the southeast. We're going to talk about our brand new RDS autologger that we just set up using another one of those DP666 TEF portables. This is on our 65-foot high omnidirectional, and wow, it's doing it. So it's crushing it. And we'll also talk a little bit from the Slack channel about some stuff that I saw today of our friend Jeff Immel and connecting with Sean Kutsko in the chat. KX9X, and those two got together to help kind of troubleshoot some stuff going on with Sean's bogs, and it's just the spirit of, to kind of paraphrase Rush, the spirit of radio. We're going to talk about the spirit of DXing and the spirit of the hobby, what we do, and how DXers helping DXers is something that I always want to celebrate. So we're going to talk a bit about what they did, and then I might kind of piggyback off of that a little bit to talk about troubleshooting, because I've had to do quite a bit of that myself lately. With some of my setups. So we might do a revisit on troubleshooting and kind of narrowing down, methodically going through and eliminating variables out of the equation if something is not working. Because like I said, I've been doing a lot of that lately. At least it feels like that way. All right, let's do some DX. We are going to start off our DX session with DX brought to you by the National Radio Club, IRCA rather, International Radio Club of America, IRCAonline.org. Now, what you see in front of you right here, this is the web server. Normally, I would be on our, like one of our Kiwis or something like that, and we might do a little bit of that tonight as well. But right now, I am on our AM web server. Now, this is not publicly available. It's just on my local network, so I just set it up for myself to be able to log into. But this allows me to be able to connect a really nice antenna, AMDX antenna, to my TEF radio, and then be able to DX off of that TEF radio, but without having to go through the interface there on the radio itself. I can use it on my computer. Now I can do recordings of my audio that I'm capturing if I want to get air checks and stuff like that. I don't have to sit there and turn the knob and mess with all that stuff and get it set exactly right and then put it down and pick it up, put it down. I don't have to do any of that. It's all right here. So, and does it have audio? Yes. It does. All right, so we're going to listen to some audio here as well as we DX a bit around the band. We're doing the 3 logs per frequency is our challenge that we're in right now. For everything from 1600 down, 1600 or 1620 up is 2 logs per frequency. And so let's go ahead. Let me go look at my my dashboard here, because I've got my my progress monitor pulled up, so I can know what I've got. Come on. There we go. So I can know what I've already worked up here. This is right here. And I'm going to filter down for just my name over here. I need to pick up at around 1550 is where I need to pick up. I have nothing from 1550 down pretty much, except for a couple frequencies here and there. So we're going to start at 1550, so 1.55. And let's go ahead and listen to some audio. Now this is utilizing our low noise vertical antenna is what we're using here for our antenna on this TEF. All kinds of little bells and whistles with this thing. Oh! South alert, huh? Well, let's do this. Let's pull up the Kiwi then. And let's look to the south a little bit. Yeah, echo on the audio. I kind of figured there might be. With that TEF radio. I had to do it a certain way. Let's check out here with the low noise vertical antenna on the Kiwi for now. And see if we can pick up anything to the south. While we are on our commercial break for our sponsors, I'll go out and flip one of my antennas to the south. Oops. That'll wake you up.
We are walking with pride and pride in our step and in our heart and our words.
I love Nashville. I love the people. I love the Tennesseans.
We'll probably swap our 35 or 305 125 down south during the commercial break here.
DX Central Live top of the hour alert.
Still in very daylighty hours here, so I'm not expecting a whole lot. So with that being said, let's just take a very quick look at the FM dial. Okay, I'm just looking to see if we have any Tropo coming in here on the auto logger. Let's just do a quick look around. 107.7, some of our empty frequencies here that we have in the Mandeville area. To see if any Tropo, because we're supposed to get some Tropo the next couple of days. It's supposed to be rather nice. Let's see here. 107. No, let's do 106.9. So I'm just going to bounce around some of our empty frequencies here. That's Tropo right there. That's Texas. Now, let me ask you guys something. When we looked at the audio that was echoing a second ago, is it echoing now? Do you hear echo on this? Yeah, just let me know if you're able to hear. Well, there's some echo. Now there's echo because I'm talking through that. There, now we should not hear any echo. It was going through my mic and going through the audio interface because the audio interface has got both my microphone and the TEF radio, so that's why it was kind of looping back around. But it shouldn't have been echoing there for the first few moments. Yeah, whenever I'm going through. Yeah, okay. All right, let's look over here.
MA client, a work point. From the Odoo.com Traffic Center. Odoo.com, the only business software you need.
Still very slow in Williamson County around a wreck. It's been with us for quite a while. So far, 65 southbound at 840. Very slow. We're on round one with the left lane block 24 westbound near the Rocky Fork Road overpass.
So that's WLAC.
For Harding Place still. And Murfreesboro Road still closed as the investigation continues into a serious wreck between Waldron Road and Laverne Council Pike. I'm Hollywood Hendricks from Talk Radio 98.3 and 1510 WLAC. This report is sponsored by
let's take a look at 1550 over here. This should probably be Baton Rouge, I believe. 1540 is my local in Gretna. It's still so early, and we don't really have any Tropo yet. It's coming, though.
Not selfish, because when you choose yourself,
Trying to find some stuff that's a little more distant. There we go. That's not my echo. That's their echo.
43 average, 5 homers, 10 RBIs. Dom had his 22-game replacement yesterday. This is Rebel Baseball from Learfield.
All banks have checking accounts and savings accounts and CDs and banks.
From the Citizens Bank, you can use your home specific tax renovation.
Let's see who we got here on 1490.
River Hills Bank will welcome people who know you by name and treat you like the important customer you are. Yes, River Hills Bank is where you'll find that personal hometown banker you've been looking for. Come in and be welcome home to River Hills Bank. Yes, River.
We're open 7 days a week, 8 a.m. till 10:30 p.m. and till 11 p.m. on weekends. Need more?
We've got lottery tickets, ice cold beverages, and yes, EBT is accepted.
That's AB Food Mart, your one-stop shop for barbecue, fried
Who was that 107?
Passionate fans and an ice cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. Fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola. We also owe you a station.
That's TUP.
Let's pause 10 seconds for that on the Ole Miss Radio Network. Your home for Ole Miss Rebel Radio is WBBG News Talk 1490 Vicksburg and W299CC FM 107.7 Vicksburg. Coach Jenkins, the catcher, will lead off righty on righty.
Dang.
Here's his first pitch. Swings and misses for strike one, 84.
Ah. I was hopeful that was Tupelo, because that would be a new one. So we've got a BZ of -20 and a K of 5, huh? Now this might be WTUP that's coming in the second station. I heard a 107.7 ID. Oh, Vicksburg's also 107.7. That's not fair. 2 stations in Mississippi on a local graveyard, and both of them parallel an FM 107.7. Warrant. That's weak. Actually, it's 115 now with the bias T. He had to bump his price. 100 without the bias T. Unless he brought it back down again. He was having to do that because of tariffs. So I've got 2 stations doing Ole Miss.
Winning streaks in the country. We did it to Texas last week. It was 16-0. They were on a 13-game winning streak. And the Rebels stopped that one too. 2-2 to Hanson.
Back for Trey Fisher. Move on a little bit. And we get the breakout. He's ahead. Looking for the backhand of Rody. Foot race one line. Twin City. And we're going to have immediate timeout coming for Rody, who that gets on the field.
A hockey game. I wonder who that is. That's not local. I want to ID that station doing the hockey game. That might be new. That's probably not Mississippi or Louisiana. Could be Texas.
What does it tell me to me? I'll stick with the decision to let it be rather than Rob MD. No doubt. The preseason All-American that he is at shortstop. It's kind of like Kay Townsend, the pitcher for us. Maker that gets over the soreness in his shoulder. They're making sure that shortstop is going to be 100%.
I haven't had time to watch a single minute of the tournament yet. I miss watching sports.
Good crowd on hand and growing here at Swayze. Calhoun throws to first.
All right, I think they've gone down a bit. We can circle back around in another hour, but I think that's it's probably Texas, but well, we'll see. Let's take a quick break. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to flip the antenna, my northwest-southeast CAS down to southeast, so I can see if maybe we can get into some of this action on the south. I haven't had a chance to flip the big CAS antenna on the shortwave central one yet, but we might do that this weekend. So we'll go do that, and when we come back, we're going to look at your shout-outs, obviously, but we've also going to talk about this right triangle antenna that Bruce Conti put up on Facebook this week that I know Barry's now got one up at his place pointing out west. I've looked at it maybe, and so we'll talk a bit about that and some of the particulars about it and what you have to kind of keep in mind. So don't go anywhere, my friends. There is a lot more DX Central Live heading your way after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. The International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com.
Can't get enough DX? Then the DX Central from the Static podcast is for you. Take DX Central on the go and listen to episodes from DX Central Live, interviews with prominent members of the DX community, tips, tricks, how-tos, your DX memories and stories. And that's just the start. You can find the From the Static podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Listen Notes, or anywhere you get podcasts, or by visiting FromTheStatic.net. That's FromTheStatic.net. For stories, signals, and voices from across the airwaves, don't miss the DX Central From the Static podcast.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
Under the sun, none of that.
Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. Friday nights at 23:45 UTC. We bring you live DX-related conversations, tips, tricks, your shout-outs, and more. Just got the antenna swapped from northwest to southeast, 305 to 125. And looks like the signals are coming in, so we're going to try that out here in a little bit and see if we can get in on some of this southerly-facing action. The sun is about set here. It's getting close, so we should be getting close to some southerly conditions being able to arrive and get in here. So we got your shout-outs to get to, but first I want to talk a bit about a new antenna that Bruce Conti at Bamlog up in New Hampshire, he put up on social media this week that he apparently had been talking about with some folks, and then he mapped it out and caught my attention and a couple other folks. So let's talk about the right triangle. I keep wanting to say right triangle loop antennas. A terminated right triangle loop. So this is what the design kind of looks like. So you'll need a vertical support to put your one wire. You have two wires in this one, kind of like you do with a CAS or a super loop. You have two wires. One goes up to the top, and you're going to have that anchored at kind of this point at about 40 feet is what he was using in his. He was using a 40-foot vertical, and then he was using a horizontal length of about 60 feet with his second wire. You can see that here. It is 60 feet, and he's got it about 5 feet plus or minus 3 feet. So, typically averaging somewhere around 3 to 5 feet off the ground for this bottom wire. On the side where you have the vertical wire, you would have that termination resistor on this side, so you're nulling signals from the vertical side. And then your feed point is down at the pointy part, down here at the opposite end, and that's where you'd put your matching transformer, your 16 by 1 or 16 to 1, and your feed line and all that. So that's the direction that signals are coming from, is from this side, and then you're nulling off to the side where the termination resistor is on the 40-foot vertical side. And so when I plugged this in using a squared plus b squares and c squared and all that stuff, this is about 118 feet between up and then down to the point. I want to say it was 118 feet or so total of wire, and with a little bit of extra in there to like do your connections and stuff like that and get everything connected and have a little bit of give to it so it's not too stout. It's about 118 feet total of your top wire, 60 foot or so for the bottom wire. And then, that is the antenna. Now let's talk a bit about this. So with the way this antenna is designed, normally with a CAS antenna, which I want to remind you guys what that kind of looks like. Let's see. Let's use the Super Loop. So this is a Super Loop. The CAS kind of has the same basic approach. What you have is on one side you have your matching transformer and your resistor on the other side, and these are equidistant. These are kind of equilateral sides, right? So on the Super Loop, it's a vertical and a vertical. They're the same height on both sides. Everything's equal. On a CAS, it's vertical up in the middle, and then it comes down to a point on both sides, but that point should be pretty much equal on both sides, about a foot or two off the ground or whatever. Now, when we look at the right angle, with that though, with that Super Loop and that CAS and things like that, because these are both the same, you can swap those boxes around. So you can move your like I just did. You can take your transformer, put it on the termination side, your terminations, and put it on the feed line side, and now you went from northwest to southeast. I just did that process just now. With the right angle triangle loop, you can't do that because of the way this is designed. You would actually have to physically pivot the feed line that's down here around and put it the other direction. You wouldn't just swap the boxes. You would pick up that pointy part down here where your feed line is and point that in the direction that you want to, which is kind of cool if you have the room to be able to move it and kind of pivot off of that center space that you have up at the top where your apex is. If you have some like pulley or some way that you're able to support that up top in a tree or whatever, and then you can pivot that around. So if you're able to do that, if you have enough room to move around, then yes, you could pick up the feed line side that's kind of secured to that 5 foot off the ground or so on the pointy side, pick that up, point it whatever direction you want to, and now you've got that direction covered. So from that standpoint, that's pretty cool, but you can't just swap the boxes, okay? Now, when I looked at this from my side, I have one tree in my yard that I can do a 40-foot vertical apex. And when I looked at all the paths, they were either paths that did nothing for me, or they were paths that were already covered by one of my other antennas. So I'm probably not going to be doing this antenna just because I don't have the real estate to pull it off. I don't have the vertical support to really pull it off in any good directions. And I don't have the horizontal distance for those where I do have the vertical support to put it in a direction that I want to. I don't have the horizontal distance from that tree to go towards the north or towards the west where I want to go. I can't do that 60 foot out. So this, if you have the room and you have some ability to either do like a 40-foot kite pole of some sort. I don't know if there's a 40-foot kite pole, but if you have some sort of vertical support, non-metallic support that's 40 foot high, that you can put this up and secure it on this vertical side of the right triangle, and then you basically come down and you go down to that apex, or that point down at the bottom down there, and again that's about 3 to 5 feet off the ground or so. then you could do this right triangle loop antenna. And I know Barry's got one now. He's got a 50. I think he said it was 50 by 50, 50 foot high, 50 foot across. So very interested to see the results that you get with that. Here's some plots that he did, that Bruce did, on what to kind of expect. I know Rick also was looking at this. Rick Knopf was looking at this as well. It was talking about maybe the performance might be better served instead of having the termination resistor down here at the bottom of this wire and down at the base wire, having this kind of more directly in the middle of this vertical element here. If you put that termination resistor more directly in the middle, that give you a better front to back ratio. So almost like a pennant. I've looked at the pennant before, so kind of similar to a pennant antenna where you have that kind of in the middle there. So something to kind of think about, play around with. If you're looking for some new antennas, you're wanting to try those out, and you have that ability to have a 40-foot high, 60-foot horizontal amount of real estate to put one of these antennas. He used 980 ohms resistance. Obviously, if you have something like a vactrol or something like that, you can dial in the resistance to maximize your back-end nulls. And then your matching transformer is at 18 to 1 or 20 to 1 for 50 ohm coax lead-in. I think he used a standard 16 to 1 that we typically use with like a flag or a CAS or a super loop or whatever. But you could also do an 18 or 20 to 1 as well and get similar results or better, maybe even better results for a better match. So this is the right triangle loop antenna, and I'm gonna go ahead and pop this. 50 by 80, says Barry. 50 by 80. That's going to be a heck of an antenna, man. Really looking forward to seeing that. And historically, like when you look at like a super loop antenna, super loops, traditionally, it's the vertical elements that give you like your gain. So the taller that antenna is, the more gain you're going to have. So if you're able to get 20, 30, 40, 50 feet on a super loop high, you're going to get better gain off of those, and also adjust the frequency, the kind of the resonant frequency of the antenna as far as the AM band goes. But usually that's why I try to kind of keep it around 20, 25 feet if I can for a super loop as far as height, because that seems to be the perfect balance of like wide coverage of the band and then enough sensitivity and gain to get those weaker signals and things like that. So I usually try to somewhere in that 15 to 25 feet seems to be a good sweet spot for super loops. But for these right triangle loops, something in the order of about 40, 50 foot high, 60, 80 feet long, like Barry is looking at, give it a shot. See if you have the real estate, give it a shot and see if you can make it work. And hopefully report back some pretty awesome DX catches, because that would be really, really cool to see. As always, you get an antenna, you put it together, you get it out there, and then boom, DX. I always love seeing that. So, all right, let's do some shout-outs.
From sea to sea, we celebrate the ones who slag the IT. Shout out, let it be known, you're never DXing all alone. Through the static we found our way. Shout outs making waves today.
Oh, here I am doing this. No audio? At all, ever? This whole time? There we go. I don't know how that happened. Anyway. So yeah, there we go. Let's do some shout-outs here. For shout-outs, we start with our friend Chuck Ripple. 1540 KXEL in Waterloo. Well heard, 946 miles. Mixing with 2 other stations. If the other 2 would ID, I don't have them. Really interesting commercials, including a company that rents spray drones that cover 35 acres an hour. Not bad. Also notes, yeah, it's right up the coast, and I might be able to hear this one during the daytime, but sadly not. Here's WDEL 1150. Radio tonight is a Win Radio G33 DDC Excalibur Pro that he bought from Grove Enterprises. So he's got clips here from one from KXEL and one from WDEL, his locals. Here we go. Here's
Tomorrow, slight chance of
KXEL.
snow with a high reaching 41. Winds out of the northeast tonight between 5 to 15. Become east-southeast tomorrow between 10 to 20. Slight chance of rain or snow late tomorrow night with a stronger wind. Snow becomes likely later Sunday. I'm TV9 First Alert Storm Team meteorologist Corey Thompson on News Talk 1540 KXEL.
The eastern Iowa temperature is 37 degrees. From KX.
There you go. So there's the ID from KXEL. Here is WDEL.
And the news that keeps you prepared. WDEL Stormwater. Sponsored by Delmarva Power. Get storm informed at delmarva.com/stormprep. From breaking weather alerts to the stories impacting Delaware, we keep you ahead of the storm. WDEL, Delaware News Radio.
Yeah, nice. Well done, Chuck. We get you a little shout-out log saw in here. There you go, my friend. There you go. Alrighty. Next up on the shout-out list, we got our friend John Johnson in Arizona. And John says, one new logging to report this week from Arizona, KUBR 1210 San Jose, Texas, over top of others with mentions of Radio Christiana. Multi-station ID, first time I've heard KUBR. And I was on 1210 looking for frequency challenge stations. This is my 125th station from Texas. My Mesa total now sits at 930. There you go. Awesome, my friend. We'll get you the nice log saw in there as well. So what I was saying, I think that you guys missed here. There was a question from David about masts, antenna masts, and any recommendations. My recommendation is there's 2 options you can really look at. You want something non-metallic, but for a AM antenna mast for like a Super Loop or a CAS, the 2 best that I've found, one is like a painter's pole. You can get like a fiberglass painter's pole, 12 foot. You can get up beyond that as well. And then the other option is one of the fiberglass kite poles. And with those, you can kind of slide those over top of a ground stake that you put in the ground, slide that on top of it. Now, I will say this, with those kite poles, as you go up in the antenna, and it gets higher and higher, you get to the top of the antenna, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner. It tapers down to just a tiny little thing with an eyelet on the top. You don't want to put your antenna through the tip top of that antenna, because if you do, what's going to happen is it's going to tilt over and it's going to snap eventually, because that's going to cause a break point. Every antenna I've ever had that I did that, it did that. It broke at that bend point, done. So what you want to do is you'll take, I bought some like plastic pulleys off of Amazon. And I took some rope and I put my pulley so that the pulley itself, the actual pulley where I would put my wire through, was sitting at 15 feet. And then I put some rope on the pulley, tied that rope around the kite pole, and then taped that down with some Gorilla Tape so it wouldn't move, wouldn't slide around. And then I put my wire through that pulley, and now I'm 5 foot down from let's say a 20, 25 foot tall mast. I'm at 15 feet. Okay, of that higher mast. So the really thin part is up high. My pulley where my wire is sitting down low. Now you're not putting any weight. You wouldn't think that wire would weigh that much on one of these poles, but it absolutely does. Even the thin stuff will pull that mast, and it'll cause those break points. So a kite pole, using it kind of lowered down from the top. You don't want to put it right at the top. About 4 or 5 feet from the top is plenty. Where you kind of have a more substantial thickness of the mast, or a painter's pole. Just make sure it's not metallic, and that works really well. I've my first ever CAS antenna used a 12-foot painter's pole from a Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever as the apex, and I just had it kind of had one of those pulleys sitting in the middle, the top where the painter's pole kind of did like this. And I put my wire through that. That was my very first CAS antenna. It was a 12x48 with a painter's pole as the middle apex. PVC, yeah, I've tried my hand at like a 20-foot PVC mast. No, it's too wobbly. It doesn't. It's gonna bend. It's not great. It's not a great experience. I've tried it with wire antennas. I've tried it with all kinds of stuff. It's not super great. It's great for like small little runs. But if you're going vertical and you're wanting something super tall, you want a fiberglass mast, like the DX Commander mast. Those are pretty good. Painter's pole works really, really well. I know I just saw Sean mentioning the Vibraplex spider beam masts. Those are pretty good as well. They're not cheap, but you can get one from DX Commander. You can get one of the kite poles, some of these, and they work really, really well. And the Vibraplex and the DX Commander are made to be used as antennas. You'll still want to kind of come down from the top a little bit, so you're not putting your wire all the way through the tip top because it will bend. Unless you're doing a vertical. Unless you're doing a vertical and you're running it up the length of that mast and through the top eyelet and then like securing it up at the top, then you can do all the way to the tip top, because with that the weight of that wire is coinciding. It's with the weight of the mast. But when you have the wires horizontal and the mast is vertical, you're gonna get that bend, and that's where the breaks happen. So that's my that's the spiel that you guys missed when I was on mute, apparently. It's been a while since we had a technological issue on this show. So, of course, it'll be this week. Been enjoying the challenge this week, says our friend, Sean Kutzko, KX9X up in Illinois. Been enjoying the challenge and spending most of my time DXing with a desktop receiver and a 135-foot end-fed wire, and it's been rewarding. Logged 11 new stations with my non-SDR and 135-foot wire this week. Starting with 800 CIAD Montreal at 827 miles for Quebec. WSFS 129 miles for 950 kilohertz. 1110 WG&Z Fairborn, Ohio, 230 miles. 1110 WUNN Mason, I'm guessing that's Indiana, 263 miles. Gary, Indiana, 110 miles. WWC A1270. 1330 KCKM in Monahans, Texas, at 1,007 miles. Houston, KSHJ, 814 miles, 1430, checking in. 1580 KGAF, Gainesville, Texas, 660 miles. 1590 WHLX, Marine City, Michigan, 249 miles. 1590 KGFX in East Grand Forks, Minnesota, 689 miles. And 1700 WRCR in Haverstraw, New York, at 750 miles. Start with high hopes to do well, but I misread the rules and didn't apply my strategy properly. Hats off to Matthew Sattel and Greg Caniglio for an amazing score in the first week. There's probably no way anyone will catch up with them, so it'll be interesting to watch how those two will duke it out. I wouldn't say that. I think there's a shot. You could probably do that. You could probably, keep going, especially if you're doing like distance stuff that's over 500 miles and non-SDR, which you are. You can get those scores racked up as long as you're getting all your your quotas met, and then just logging stuff by DX off of desktops and portables. We'll be good to go. Actually, the biggest shout out for me this week needs to go to Mr. Jeff Immel. Notorious BOG. Jeff drove 2 hours from Indianapolis to come over and help me diagnose my BOG problems, my beverage on the ground troubles. And after some serious detective work, determined I had a bad relay in my new remote coax switch. So big kudos to Jeff for helping me troubleshoot the problem. He's a shining example of how great this community is. Hear, 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 hear. Absolutely. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. So big kudos to our friend Sean and to our friend Jeff. for getting together and doing the old-fashioned. I mean, this is the stuff my dad and I, we used to do it all the time, trying to troubleshoot stuff or like work on antenna work and kind of figure stuff out. Like, why didn't this work? And how are we going to make that work? It's good fun. So congratulations on getting that figured out, getting that isolated, and getting that taken care of. And congratulations on 11 new stations. So a bunch of logs in there. There you go. Well done, my friend. All right. And we'll do... Stuart, you'll be in the next round. We'll get you in there for the next round here in the next hour. But you've still got time to get your shout-outs in. And then just go to dxchallenges.com/shoutout, and we can get you into the next hour. And that's when I'll do mine. Because I actually did get some new stuff this week. I had a little bit of time for DX this week. A little bit, more than I've had lately. And we got some new ones on AM and on FM, which, let me tell you, it's starting to get there. It's starting to percolate. Let's go here and look up here at the map. This is the new autologger. This is my new RDS autologger, logger 297. This is my new one here in Mandeville. This is using our 65-foot high omnidirectional, kind of homemade omni, folded dipole over at Shortwave Central, and fed with a Kits KT501 low noise amplifier. And so you can see this was I'll call it a average to moderate tropo opening last night. It wasn't like a barn burner, but anytime you're getting to San Antonio from here, that's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. It's kind of getting further inland. And we had several stations out of San Antonio last night. This was the 65-foot high. This is the 21-foot high regular dipole. So similar performance, not maybe as much. There's definitely more here from the 65-footer, as you can kind of see, especially along that path out into western parts of Louisiana. But some of the more further stuff into Texas, the dipole, the regular dipole, that's only 21 foot high off the ground, it saw it. So we call this in the corporate world directionally accurate. It was directionally accurate, literally directionally, for the 21 foot high dipole compared to the 65 foot high omnidirectional folded dipole that we put up way up in the top of a pine tree. But this thing, I'm very excited to see what it's going to do tonight, because we've got some more tropo heading our way. Let's look at the tropo forecast. We're going to drop the link here in the chat for those of you who are on live with us right now. And this is the Bill Hepburn tropo forecast. If you're not familiar with this yet, you need to be. If you're doing any sort of FMDX, you need to be looking at Bill Hepburn's tropo forecast around 1 o'clock every day, 1800 UTC-ish, which is right now 1 o'clock in the afternoon here Central Time, noon Central Time during Standard Time. Obviously, you'll just adjust for your time zone. There's a new forecast, updated forecast. So this is the most updated forecast as of right now from today, from 1 p.m. Central Time today. So this is what we're looking at for the eastern half of the United States, and we're going to walk you through the forecast for the next couple of days here, because it is pretty interesting. Starting with, you'll see here, obviously, as we get to some of the, if you haven't seen this before, if you get to some of these higher colors in here, that's going to speak to the intensity of the tropo duct that is in place. That means you have stronger signals, you have more signals, you have more stable signals. The weaker it is, the signals are weaker, the stability is not as strong, and maybe not as many frequencies are going to be impacted, or maybe it's not even getting down into FM. Maybe it's kind of sticking around NOAA weather radio, 2 meter, stuff like that. But this is what we're looking at here for the next couple of days, and I'm going to try to point out some different places, not just my own area here, but along the East Coast and up in here in the Great Lakes as well. So we get into, right now it is a little after 000 UTC here. So this is the live map. This is what it should be based off of the forecast. This is what we should be seeing. You'll see now, if we go back, look what's happening here off the east coast of the Carolinas and the mid-Atlantic region. You start to see this start to bubble up here right off the coastline. Okay, watch as that starts to push inland. It goes all the way down into Florida. So as this pushes inland, you'll have people here in some of these mid-Atlantic regions, the Carolinas, that are able to hear down into Florida. Here on the Gulf Coast, we have a little bit of this kind of percolating in a little bit, and it's going to start off to our west. This is always where it kind of starts off, is towards Texas, right there in the big bend over here by Texas, where they get into Louisiana. You get a lot of tropo right in this little curve right here. That's usually where we see it kind of start. There's also some tropo forming up here into Arkansas, into parts of Kentucky, Illinois, down through Iowa. So up in this region, Minnesota down into Iowa, down into Illinois, up into around the Great Lakes, you guys might even have a shot at a little bit of tropo here as we go into the evening here. Now, look at this. Now we're here. This is about 1 o'clock in the morning tonight. Now we start to see this start to push in, right? We're seeing that tropo pushing in here onto the Gulf Coast, into Louisiana. I should be seeing a lot more stuff out west, a little bit to my east, but a lot more stuff out west. Look what's happening here now. Arkansas into Tennessee, into Kentucky, rather. From, again, this little duct. This is a decent duct. This is a moderate to high, or I call it fair to moderate. Okay, we'll call that fair to moderate, which is about what we had last night here. A fair to moderate tropo opening from Minnesota down into Illinois and parts of Iowa as well. A little bit from here in Kentucky, Tennessee, into Arkansas, parts maybe Missouri. A lot of it down here into Texas, into Louisiana. And then look what's happening here along the East Coast. Florida really starting to ramp up, and then all the way up in here into the Carolinas. Now, that's going to push off the shore a little bit as we go into Saturday morning. Look at this up here, though. Really strengthening as we get into the morning, kind of those muggy mornings. Get those muggy mornings where it's cooler at the surface because it hasn't warmed up yet. The sun hasn't been able to reach down to the lower levels of the atmosphere down to the surface level and warm it up. So it's still cool, but the upper layers are starting to warm up because you have the sun already starting to heat those upper layers. Well, guess what? Yeah, that's how you get tropo. And so that's what we're seeing here. Look at this. I mean, much, much more widespread down here in the Gulf region as we get, this is now 12 a.m. UTC, so this is 7 a.m. Central Time. Now we're talking about some stuff over here in Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Iowa, Illinois. Look at all this over here, Pennsylvania, Ohio. Now some of this is marginal, some of this is fair to moderate. So you'll definitely want to take a look as you look into the morning hours in the morning, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Check and see if your FM band has anything in those empty spaces where you don't normally have stuff, because you might see some interesting stuff. Look at this down here in the Gulf, all the way down into Florida. I'm going to have to look and see how far that goes down towards Cuba, because that might be interesting for me to look at. Then as you get into the daytime, it kind of burns off a little bit, and you're going to see that here. It's going to kind of evaporate a bit. You still have a nice, look at this. Look what's going on up here in the Minnesota-Iowa border up in here into parts of Wisconsin. That's kind of holding in. I mean, that's not going anywhere. That's really nice. And it holds over for a couple of frames here. So now, this is this time tomorrow night, Saturday night, into Sunday morning UTC time. You see what's starting to build here along the Gulf Coast. You see what's starting to build here off the mid-Atlantic coast. You see what's starting to build here again into parts of Illinois, into Indiana, into Missouri, into Wisconsin. Look at all that. That is pretty nice. And then you see, Sean, looking at you here, buddy. Look at Minnesota, into Oklahoma, Kansas, Illinois, into Indiana, down into Kentucky. You've got a nice little bit of tropo. Again, that's in that scale of somewhere in the moderate to high. So this is even in the high range. So you've got some pretty decent tropo heading your way up into Illinois. The Gulf tropo is really starting to cook. Look what's happening here in the Mid-Atlantic, right off the coast. If that starts to push inland at all, I mean, even some of these folks up here around Long Island and that way, they might be able to hear down the coastline a little bit. Carolina's seeing a little bit here off the coast of Florida, seeing a little bit, maybe not as much as what we're seeing tonight. But then as we get into, this is 7 a.m. Sunday morning Central Time. Check this out. Everyone from basically Pennsylvania all the way over to Missouri. This whole Midwest area right here, you guys are looking at some pretty decent FM tropo. Potentially. I say potentially because it's the potential for tropo, but is it going to have enough to bring that frequency response down into the FM band? we'll have to wait and see. It might hang out there in the portions of around 2 meters. NOAA weather radio. I would be checking your NOAA weather radio frequencies if you're in this area. You might be getting some NOAA stuff you don't normally get if you're in this area here. From, like I said, Pennsylvania down into West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, parts of Kentucky, Illinois, Missouri, down into parts of Arkansas. Like this whole area, I would be checking not only your FM band, but also your NOAA weather radio frequencies, because that might be an opportunity for you to hear something you don't normally get to hear. The whole southeast Gulf Coast here, it's alive. All the way into parts of Florida, here in Louisiana, over into Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, everybody. Look at how much there is down there. And then little scattered pockets here off the coast of the Carolinas, into the D.C. metro area up in here, into the Carolinas here along the Tennessee border. So by the time we wake up Sunday morning, quite a few folks are going to be experiencing tropo, including some of you up here in the Midwest that don't see a lot of tropo. So that's pretty nice, okay? Now it starts to burn off as we get in the daytime, but then look what happens now. We're getting back into, this is 1 a.m. Sunday night into Monday morning. Look what we got coming in here. Look at the Gulf Coast. Okay? It's blowing up down here. And this is the kind of opening that when I see these kinds of openings that kind of push in and kind of spread out, sometimes, not all the time, because sometimes what happens is you'll hit some of these areas up here that are closer into the Appalachians where you kind of get into some cooler air higher up. And so it kind of kills the tropo a little bit. But if this continues to push a little bit further north, it can sometimes push further than forecasted. And some of you guys in like Birmingham, Atlanta, Columbia, Charleston, you guys could be seeing some of this tropo a little bit further north than what we're seeing here on the forecast. So I would be, if you're in some of this area that's just north of this, I would be on alert on Monday morning for your Monday morning commute to be looking for tropo there, okay? And then we see it kind of clear out as we get into Monday, and then a little bit of residual stuff. And here's, once we get out to like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, I just look at it to see, okay, let's see if these trends kind of continue, but it's too far out for me to put much credence behind what I'm seeing. Most of this is what I'm looking at is going to be through Monday, is about the best part of the forecast that I can really kind of feel good about. So I'm looking at this, and if you're in one of those areas that I've mentioned, from Minnesota into Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, and then parts of Missouri, and then as we get into Sunday, all the way over here into Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, like if you're in some of these areas, you're going to want to have your auto loggers up. This is 1 a.m. on Sunday UTC. This is 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday morning. Right there. I'm just going to leave that one up on the screen. You're going to want to definitely have your auto loggers up and running if you have them. You're going to want to take, maybe do a band recording, especially if you're not used to getting tropo. Maybe do a band recording or two and seeing if you can get some of that stuff. And definitely, if you have the opportunity, record your NOAA weather radio band, because you might be getting stuff that normally you never get. So, very interesting conditions indeed. All right. So you guys ready for some more DX? Let's talk about some more frequencies here. We're going to look at see if we have anything coming down to the south now that the conditions hopefully are kind of heading in that direction. Let's do our next DX session, brought to you by the National Radio Club, nationalradioclub.org. I got it right this time. nationalradioclub.org is where you want to go for more information about membership and getting yourself into the NRC. Let's go ahead and get on our DX Central Kiwi here at the house at North Shore Studios. Let's see, what is... Someone asking about a URL. So let's see, what was the question here? Lloyd would know the URL. What's the URL you guys are looking for? Oh, West Coast map. Oh, got you. Okay, I got you now. Yes, if you're looking for the Tropo for the West Coast, it's the same link that I put in the chat, but over here on the left-hand side, you have a pull-down menu, and that's where you would choose Western North America. And let's just give that a quick look. Why don't we? Let's see if anything pops up here. Usually there's not a lot, which is why I don't usually look at the West Coast stuff, because there's usually not too much. But every once in a while you'll get something up here in like Oregon, Northern California that'll push in. Yeah, I'm not seeing much. There's usually stuff right off the coast. Man, if this stuff that's on the coast could get inland, but those atmospheres out west are so stable at all those different layers in the atmosphere. It's just so stable. Now, you do have a little bit here Saturday up here in Northern California. Look at that pushing in here. So Northern California looks pretty decent. And that is, what's that? That's about 2 a.m. Tonight. 2 a.m. tonight. So starting around 11 o'clock tonight into around 2 a.m. Northern California folks, you might have a little bit of tropo up in here. Maybe some of that might link up down here, down to the south a little bit, maybe. But, yeah, I would definitely take a look if you're in some of those areas we talked about earlier. That can help you out and maybe get some new stuff. Let's see if we have anything down south. We're on 125-degree southeast Kaz. And if the K and the A are still as high as we said earlier, and the BZ is still as high as we said earlier in the negative, we might have a shot at some cool stuff. So let's do some checking.
She said that from the legal counsel she saw out that since this wasn't a new home buy for us, that theoretically we were all in the clear.
So yeah, that link for that West Coast forecast map is the same that we looked at earlier. You'll just choose that Western North America from the pull down.
We did, so we got an inspection. The inspector never.
All right, so 1510. I'm not hearing much on the Radio Monumental front here.
The vent on the top of the house wasn't done correctly. So things my husband's like, it's not a big deal. Like, there's nothing.
Interesting. I've got more coming here on the vertical than I do on the south. East Kaz. K of 5 BC negative 9.75. 11.1-ish. K5. Okay, good. So we got a pretty decent negative BZ. Pretty nice K of 5. That works. So here I'm going to probably expect to hear a lot of Mexico. Let me do something really quick, though. Let's see. I think I need to redo my transformer on this antenna. Looking at these signal levels, I think I need to redo my transformer. So there's Rebeldi. The usual Rebeldi wall is there. Let's see. I normally would go over here, 910. I look for San Andres y Providencia, but last I checked, they are gone.
22-39-38-55 o 22-32-41-10. Hospital El Carmen, 70 años brindando un servicio de calidad a los hondureños.
Cuando comienza un proyecto, hay que hacerlo bien desde el inicio. Elegir precios que sí construyen productos. Usar calidad que sí aguante el trabajo. Recibir asesoría que sí te ayude a decidir. Por eso, estamos en cada presupuesto y en cada paso. Con productos confiables y marcas que responden a cada mentira invertido. Larache y compañía. Acompañando con la economía real de tus proyectos. Con precios reales y precios bajos siempre.
Siempre nos comentan que pareciera que abrimos un farmafácil a diario, pero es porque queremos estar cerca tuyo.
Excuse me, sorry.
Estar cerca de tu vida, de tu recuperación, de tus alegrías. Cada día verás más sucursales, más puertas abiertas, más sonrisas a tu vida, pero no porque queramos ser la
Let's see if this is Honduras.
es porque queremos ser una gran farmacia para todos.
Ah.
La vela de un cumpleaños, la vela de la fe, encender la estufa para la comida o prender la parrilla con los amigos. Para todos esos momentos y mucho más, están los fósforos Caballo Rojo, el infaltable Caballo Rojo tradicional. Y también búscalo en sus presentaciones extra largo, gigante y parrillero. Calidad, confianza y encendido seguro. Cuanto más lo necesita. Fósforos Caballo Rojo.
DX Central Live Top of the Hour Alert.
I think I heard him say Caracol Radio.
En Laboratorio Hueso Área, estamos listos para brindarte un servicio seguro y conveniente sin salir de casa. Te llevamos la salud a casa. Conoce nuestro servicio de toma de muestra a domicilio. Comodidad y seguridad en un solo servicio. ¿Necesitas agendar una cita? Contáctanos en Tegucigalpa al teléfono 2263-1950. Celular 9447-1662. O escríbenos al correo electrónico domicilio@huesoarias.com. Te atendemos de lunes a viernes, 6:30 de la mañana a 2:30 de la tarde. Y los sábados, 6:30 de la mañana, 11 de la mañana. Gracias por confiar en Laboratorio Hueso Área. Gracias por seguir en nuestra sintonía. Continuamos con nuestra programación. Cada viernes devocional nos encarga la alegría y la tradición. Es por eso que por esta radial, la voz de tu casa, les
Yeah. Pretty sure that's Siapa. They usually have this little jingle that they play near the top of the hour. That's what I'm kind of listening for.
Tengan todos ustedes a este su programa Soy Caballero en Radio en este viernes penitencial 20 de marzo del año del Señor 2016. Estamos en el quinto viernes de Cuaresma, ya por comenzar la quinta semana de este tiempo favorable y que cada vez siempre puede lo reitero, viva su despierto cuaresmal de la mejor manera, apoyados en la oración y que nuestro Señor Jesucristo los protege y los cuide siempre. Gracias por acompañarnos nuevamente en este viernes, aquí desde su cabina de radio con el señor Enrique Santos y a través de las plataformas digitales de la Sociedad de Caballeros del Santo Entierro de Tegucigalpa. Es un honor tanto para nosotros como para la Sociedad de Caballeros que ustedes muy fielmente nos escuchen a través de la potencia del amor, la radio de AM. Esta noche tenemos casa llena, tenemos de igual manera jóvenes recién juramentados que vivirán su experiencia de fe desde acá, desde los micrófonos de la potencia del amor. Y de igual manera tenemos un hermano muy querido por la sociedad que también nos viene a conversar sobre su experiencia.
So San Andreas is gone.
Pero esta noche no me encuentro solo, también tenemos en Control Master a hermanos muy queridos. Emilio, buenas noches, ¿cómo está usted?
Agradable y feliz noche, hermanos y hermanas que nos gracias por su fiel sintonía en este viernes 20 de marzo del año del Señor 2026. Por la voluntad del Padre ya vamos caminando hacia este inicio de la Semana Santa 2026. Como usted muy bien lo mencionaba, Rolando Antonio Funes.
Like 95% that's La Voz de Suyapa out of Honduras. Now it's down to negative 2.5. Wow. That is rapid. All right, so I'm pretty sure that's Honduras. I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure that's Honduras. I'll keep listening and see if I can get him in there. But of course, when I have all of my antennas pointing to the north. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll do a couple more shout-outs. Again, dxchallenges.com/shoutouts. You still have time to get yours in. We'll do ours. And then we're also going to take a look at the numbers for our current challenge. We'll do that. Don't go anywhere, my friends. More DX Central Live is heading your way right after this.
DX Central, Because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com. For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. The International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS-HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Can't get enough DX? Then the DX Central from the Static podcast is for you. Take DX Central on the go and listen to episodes from DX Central Live, interviews with prominent members of the DX community, tips, tricks, how-tos, your DX memories and stories. And that's just the start. You can find the From the Static podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Listen Notes, or anywhere you get podcasts, or by visiting FromTheStatic.net. That's FromTheStatic.net. For stories, signals, and voices from across the airwaves, don't miss the DX Central From the Static podcast.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
Africa to the world, listen to the air, yeah. I look for the station, he looks for the station, a distant nation, but the wall is high, between me and the sky.
the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX. There we go. I gotta look at my monitor. It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. Bring you live DX conversation, and of course your shout-outs. Get your shout-outs in. DXchallenges.com/shoutout. That's how you get your shout-outs in if you want to let us know what you've been hearing so we can celebrate with you. High five virtually through the camera here. We got Stuart coming up here in a few moments. We'll read yours, and then we'll go ahead and knock ours out here at DX Central as well, what we've been hearing this week. We had a couple new ones, which was nice. I did want to take a really quick moment before we dive into my next topic, which is looking at our challenge board from what you guys have been doing in the challenge this week. I want to take a quick moment. So last night, medium wave list went down, and FM list as well. And that, I was trying to do some logging for FM list for my little Tropo opening because we had some stations coming in. I was trying to make sure that others were able to know that there was Tropo conditions afoot. And this was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, so you had to be an insomniac like me to be able to know that. But I still wanted folks to be able to know that there was Tropo going on in case they were up and wanted the DX. And FM list and medium wave list were both down. So that brings up the question of, okay, what do I do if my websites that I like to use, like medium wave list or FM list, are down and I need to see a station list? I want to know what I'm DXing. Well, there are some options out there for you. So obviously, there's one option that you can get that's not going to go down, and that is the NRC AM radio log when it comes out in the fall. Get yourself a copy. And that way you always have that. It doesn't matter if the internet's live or not live, if you've got power, no power, if you're at home, you're at wherever you might be, internet connection, none. You got the NRC AM radio log with you, and you can get your station list right there in your hand. And you can keep that up to date with all the information that comes from the National Radio Club and the IRCA through their DX bulletins. So becoming a member has its privileges in that regard as well. You can keep your log up to date of any changes and construction permits, call letter changes, format changes, all that kind of stuff. If you're dead set and you're definitely wanting to make sure you have an online resource, which I use all the time. So I'll walk you through a couple here that I think are super, super helpful. The first one here is for Canadian and U.S. stations. And this is from amdxer.com. Our friend Tim Trump up in Michigan maintains this site. This is a list of U.S. and Canadian stations. And you see you have the ability to organize and pull up your list by frequency. You can pull by state or province. You can even try to type in, hey, I think I heard a call sign. And you can type in what you think you heard. And then you can use fuzzy logic here. Fuzzy logic or even fuzzier logic to try to maybe turn that B into a D or a C or a G, right? So this is a fantastic site if you're trying to kind of see what you're hearing. I use it all the time for format references. FM Parallels, he has got some amazing data here on, if you're hearing like earlier when I was on 1490 and I heard that 107.7, and I was like, wait a minute, 107.7 Mississippi, and that's when I realized there was one here in Vicksburg and one in Tupelo, both of them right here. Carrying 107.7 on the same AM frequency, and I was like, well, crap. So a fantastic resource for this. It's also really, really great if you're trying to kind of get targets, like Jacob mentioned here in the chat. Like if you're saying, okay, I want to go after Idaho, and so you go over here and you list out all the stations that are in Idaho. Now here's everything, and you can see the day power, the night power. You can kind of get an idea of formats and how they ID and stuff like that, networks and that kind of thing. So this can help you with your research as well. So fantastic resource for that. And I put that link in the chat. So definitely check out Tim's site at amdxer.com. Another fantastic site is another one of our regulars here at DX Central. Tim's a regular up there, the DX Magnet. And so is this guy, Mesa Mike Westfall. He's got a fantastic site. And this one gives you something that you can do very cool things with. So, you do have the ability, just like we just saw, you can look at information by state or by frequency, so you can do either or. But some of you guys have seen me talk about this before, and we just talked about this in our patron-exclusive Zoom call that we did, talking about online logbooks. We talked a bit about taking this data, pulling it in, and making it available for your logbook to do some comparisons and stuff. You can pull in your location, as you see me here do, and then from that, it will calculate your distance and bearing from every station in the in Mesa Mike's list here. You'll see your distance and bearing from all the stations. Now, this is just U.S. stations, so keep that in mind. And this is updated pretty regularly. He pulls in, I think daily, he pulls in data from the FCC database. And so you've got this table. You can use this to also pull a target list or, either by state or by frequency. But the coolest thing to me is I can go over here and where it says display option right here, if you choose delimited and then apply that, now you've got the entire list, all of Mesa Mike's data that he's got available on his site. You now have it at your disposal to be able to pull into a spreadsheet. Here's where the magic happens. Control All and copy. All right, so Control A and then Control C for copy, or Command C, Command A. And then we're going to go over here to Google Suite with the Google Sheets. I'm going to bring up a brand new one, and then I just paste this into my Google Sheet, like so. Now, that particular format, the way it's kind of displaying right now, is not super helpful, but I can go down here and say split text to columns, or if this doesn't pop up, because sometimes it doesn't, you can go up to data and choose split text to columns with your first column highlighted. Go split text to columns, and then once you've done that, it'll bring up a little box down here where it says separator. And for Mesa Mike's data, you'll want to choose custom, and then your separator is that little vertical pipe, right? That little guy. And watch what it does. As soon as you type that little vertical pipe in there, on my keyboard, it is shift and then the slash key. That's where the vertical pipe sits. It separates all of the data into its own column, including your distance and bearing if you plug that in using your Latin long, right? So this is a fantastic resource. If you're like me and you want to be able to say, how many stations have you heard from a state? What's the percentage that you've heard from a state? We were talking about this last night in the Slack channel. A couple of us were. This is how I calculate that. So on my logbook, I have a section here where I look at the percentage of stations heard in each state. I'm at 19% for the entire country of active live stations, right? I've heard Nevada, but that station's no longer active, so it doesn't count on this map. At least it does on this one of heard stuff, but not on this map of like percentage of what's active. And then I can look at my states. So, like, for instance, I've got Florida at 51%, 52%, 57% for Arkansas, 48% for Alabama, and so forth. I think it's 84 now here in Louisiana. Yeah, 84%. And then I can also have a list of what's left. What have I not heard? So I can pull targets from that as well, especially if I'm doing by frequency at a time. Like, let's say I'm like, let me go over here and really focus my efforts on 1210. I just want to know what I have left on 1210 so I can pull up the list of what I have not logged in 1210, and there it is. It's all right there for me. Pretty cool that way. I do the same thing with my Louisiana stats so I can know what I've heard in Louisiana, what's left in Louisiana, and it turns out most of these probably aren't even active anymore. Probably a lot of them are silent or pretty close to it. So if you're looking for a fantastic resource, that Mesa Mike one, Tim Trump's site, those are both fantastic resources depending on how you're kind of wanting to use them. And then obviously medium wave list, also fantastic as well. And with medium wave list, you also have the added benefit of being able to create a map of your logbook by going up here into your logbook. And then I'll choose like all, so I can see everything that I've logged. And then you can visualize that here. I'm going to just pull this because I was doing some logs last night. So I'm pulling my logbook. Here, let me find one where I have a log. There, yep, that's a log of Louisiana. What's my most recent? Let's sort this. 317. 317 was my most recent. So I just had to go one more. And I would have gotten it. There we go. So you click on there, you show your complete logbook, and here's everything that you've logged on medium wave list. You can see it all visually represented. So that's one of the benefits of medium wave list, in addition to others being able to see what's being heard and kind of helping them out, which is helpful for AM. It's more helpful for FM, like sporadic E and tropo and stuff. It can be helpful for AM, but it's more for the FM side. But it's still cool to see at least your logs visually here from what you've logged into medium wave list. So if, though, that site or one of the others is down, you have options. Is what I basically wanted to make sure you guys know, is there are other options that are out there. So medium wave list is one of them, and I'll throw that one here into the chat so you guys have that. And then there's Tim's site and Mesa Mike's site. Those are the three primary ones that most USDXers are utilizing these days. All right. So let's look at the challenge dashboard now. Let's see where I have it pulled up. I'm not going to pull up the one in Looker Studio here that I put together, so the actual dashboard itself. So here's the actual dashboard. I want to make sure you guys kind of saw something that I've added this week that wasn't there when the week started and not normally there for most of our challenges. First, 1,882 logs. What are you guys? Are you getting any sleep but at all? 1,000 stations, 5,900 miles, 51 states, including DC. I'll have to look at that because some of those might be, yeah, we haven't gotten all those. So some of those might be data typos I got to fix. Score-wise, look at Matt. I mean, over 10,000 points already. And 87 frequencies where he's met the quota. The 3 or the 2, he's met 87 frequencies. He's gotten that met. 72 for Greg. Sean's 32. See, if you're able to get those 2 and 3 for those that you're missing, man, you can climb that score real fast, Sean. Real fast. So here's something that I added in. So we have our usual standard dashboard here with all of our usual tables we put together. But there's a couple things I want to make sure you guys saw. One, by request, there were some folks who were trying to use the filters up here, and they were noticing, like, if I type in my name is Lloyd, I had to type in capital L because that's what my name looks like in the logbook. If I typed a lowercase l, it wouldn't work because it had to be case sensitive, and not everyone was wanting to kind of do that because some folks, myself included, wanted to be able to just kind of type it in the way you wanted to. So I changed these from text entries into a pull-down menu. So now I can just type in L-O-Y-D, all lowercase, and now it's going to bring my name up. And then I can click on this only button that shows up right here. And now the entire dashboard is filtered for just what I've submitted so far. I see I've gotten 37 stations, 1,874 miles is my furthest, 17 states, 4 countries. Here's all of my logs, and here's all the rest of it. Here's my score. Here's all the rest of what I have, all the states that I've heard and so forth, and blah, blah, blah. So that is how you can use that. And then if you ever want to kind of go back, you can hit this Reset All Filters button right here, and that will reset you back to the larger dashboard so you can see everything, okay? So I've changed all these from text entry into pull-down menus, and you can search those pull-downs, and you don't have to be case-sensitive or whatever. You can just kind of type it in normally, and it'll pull up what you're looking for. And that includes the notes as well. So let's say I'm sitting on, I don't know, let's say I'm sitting on 1,200, and I want to look at stations that are on 1,200, and I keep hearing someone talk about spurs. I don't know what they're talking about with spurs on 1,200. If I then look up spurs in the notes, that'll give me one station, and there's a log of WOAI. They're talking about the San Antonio Spurs. So boom. That helps me now be able to know what I'm hearing, hopefully, by kind of narrowing that down. The other thing that you can do over here as well is you can look at your progress monitor. So if you want to know which frequencies you've met quota for, which ones you still have left to work, if you go over here, this is completely independent from those filters we were looking at a moment ago. So if I filter over here by Dennis over here, it's not going to filter this progress monitor here. So I will want to click on this pull down right here, and this will now, if I click, let's say, on Sean, let me pull up Sean's because he's doing really, really well, and I look at only Sean's, you'll see here's all of the progress. Now, if it's in black, that means it's not been touched yet. Most of mine are black because I haven't touched them yet. If it's red, that means only 1 log for those that require 3. If it's in yellow, that's either 2 or 1, depending on if it's the one that requires 2 or 3. And if it's in green, then the quota is met. You're done with that one. So you can use this scale to help you kind of know where you are good, what you've completed. But if you have a bunch of reds, those are ones you want to spend some time on to fill those out. If you have some yellows, those just need 1 more, and you'll be where you need to be. So that little progress monitor here on the side should hopefully help folks be able to track I know some folks are doing it in a spreadsheet themselves, but this also gives you an option if you don't want to do that, where you can track on your side exactly what you've got. Let's look at Matt here. Look at all the green on this guy's progress monitor. Still a couple of reds, a couple of yellows, so he's getting there. He's getting very, very close to finishing these out and getting all those frequency quotas met. So, and then if I hit reset filters, it resets that filter over here as well. So now I'm back to the base. But I found if I leave that up, I can use that to help me identify where my gaps are and kind of where I need to focus in on. So I know I need to pick up on 1550 because that's where I've kind of left off. There you go. Jacob says he needs to start entering logs. Don't expect a big data dump. Nice. You got to do at least one of those a day. Otherwise, you get backed up real bad, and then you have to do a bunch of work. So there you go. That's the challenge dashboard for this week. Between now and the end of the month of March, we'll be looking at this dashboard. But you guys are already crushing it. Almost 2,000 logs so far, and we are 1 week in, 2 weeks left to go. And you're absolutely crushing it, so keep it up. If I go here and I choose everybody, as a collective group, yeah, we've hit every frequency for sure. We've hit that, so that's not a problem. Yeah, so there you go. Hopefully that helps some of you be able to kind of see where you're at and what you need to kind of target after. And there you go. Chuck says, I want to be able to log in. Yeah, so you should be able to. If you have problems with that, just shoot me an email and let me know. Or hit me up. Yeah, I think you're on the Slack channel, right? Hit me up on email. I'll let you know. I haven't been checking my email the last couple of days because of day job stuff, but I will get back onto that. So there you go. Speaking of the challenge, it's now 27 after the hour. Let's do a quick shout-out look, and then we will get back to the challenge. Let's see what we can hear. Maybe some international stuff if we're able to. So, first off, shout-outs.
Hear the call for every single big or small, from AM to FM to C to C. We celebrate the ones who snag the IT. Shout out loud, let it be known, you're never DXing all alone. Through the static we found our way. Shout outs making waves today.
All right. Our friend Stuart checks in with a shout out. And not just a shout out tonight, he's also sharing his goals. Because Stuart, like many of us, are already contemplating the FM Sporadic E season, the upcoming season of FMDX, which we're really going to get in earnest into starting in April. We're really going to start diving into FM quite a bit that month. So we'll walk through those goals he has here as well. And this might help some of you kind of start to brainstorm how you want to formulate your goals for the FM season as well. All right. It says, unfortunately, I'll have to miss the show tonight. I'll be watching the replay when I return home from work. I feel that, man. Ooh, I feel that. Today was a barn burner of a day on the day job. Another week with not too many logs, but definitely enjoying the frequency challenge as a final push for me to log new AM stations before I focus my DXing efforts entirely on FM. Absolutely. I know I've said it over and over. AM doesn't die just because the summer shows up. Is it tougher? Yes. But there's still a lot of great DX to be heard in the summertime, which is why we do the Summer DX Challenge. But I totally get the transition mindset. I'm going to be focusing my efforts entirely on FM, NOAA weather radio, and 2 meters 440 ham radio through the early fall months. Here are my new AM Gray Line and Skywave catches over the last few days. 590 WVLK in Lexington, Kentucky, 291 miles. Radio Reloj, 790 in Cuba at 1,300 plus miles with that nice little RR Morse code heard. 1690 WPTX in Lexington Park, Maryland at 468 miles. 593 miles to Memphis, WMFS on 680 ESPN radio. And also ESPN radio, 540 WKFN in Clarksville, Tennessee, 440 miles. I did try my hand at 770 CHQR in Calgary, Alberta this past Tuesday night with no luck, but I'll keep trying for them during the window. Definitely keep trying. Pull up a Kiwi up in Alberta. There's several up there you can use, and try to parallel what you're hearing. For me, now you're further north than I am. For me, they're weak, but they're in there, and I can hear that echo between the Kiwi I'm listening on and my Kiwi or my radio. I can hear kind of that echo going on. Boom, and they're there. So if I'm hearing them down here in Louisiana, as far north as you are, you got a real good shot. So keep trying at it, my friend. In the meantime, I thought I'd pass along my own goals and predictions for 2026 FMDX season ahead. So we're going to break this up into categories, starting with eSkip. At least 20 openings in FM and 12 workable live, with at least 12 of those workable live and 10 on SDR recordings. That'd be nice. 5 to 10 openings with an MUF above 96. Ooh, that'd be really nice. That'd be nice. 1 to 2 multi-hour openings with an MUF to or near the top of the FM band. That's manageable. That could be manageable. 1 to 2 openings to Lloyd's area near New Orleans. I can almost guarantee you're going to have at least one of those, because I get Michigan all the time during eSkip season. It's Ontario, it's Michigan, it's Pennsylvania, it's New York, Buffalo, the kind of Western New York area. That's bread and butter all day long for me here, man. eSkip openings always seem to kind of focus, and you can see that if you look at my my FM logbook and you look at the heat map. I mean, this kind of tells the tale right here. Once it loads up, it takes a second. Look at all that up. I mean, to this northeast. That's where it's all at. It's Michigan. You would see even more if we were looking at Ontario here. This is just U.S. only, but all up in Ontario, all this Western New York, Ohio, like all this right here. This is the most common path that I have. So I feel like that's a pretty safe goal, pretty safe bet for you to be putting in for this upcoming eSkip season. Is a couple of openings down here into the New Orleans area, because my goodness, I see it definitely the entire way. Had a question from Sean. How often do the totals refresh? Every 10 to 15 minutes. That's Google doesn't let it do any faster. That's as fast as I could get. If it was real time or instantaneous, I would set it to that. Absolutely. But when you look at the settings in Looker Studio, it's like 24 hours, a couple hours, and there's like 15 minutes. So it's 15 minutes between refreshes. Where were we at here? 1 to 2 openings straight west or northwest to Wyoming, the Dakotas, or Saskatchewan. Nice. At least 1 opening straight east or northeast to New England, Quebec. I think you can manage that. That seems pretty typical. 1 opening into New Mexico, and at least 5 new eSkip states. That would be nice. That'd be very nice. At least 1 opening with stations under 650 miles away. That would indicate a pretty high MUF. So that's, if you can get one of those multi-hour high MUF openings that push into the 2-meter band or NOAA weather radio band, you would have a shot at some of those shorter skip options. At least 1 opening with stations operating 1 kilowatt or less. So those weaker ones. Nice. I think I've gotten some of those up in Michigan that were that way. I got a lot of those like 1 to 3 kilowatt Michigan stations during eSkip. At least 5 HD decodes. I like that. That's something I haven't done a whole lot of. Is eSkip HD work. I need to do better at that. Maybe I'll do that this year. We'll do some better tries at eSkip HD. I saw someone now has the ability you can do HD on your web servers. That's interesting. At least 50 new FM logs within 25 miles of Ann Arbor. There you go. Tropo, at least 20 openings with at least 12 workable live. 5 to 10 openings with FM stations over 200 miles away and at least 5 workable live. 1 to 2 openings with FM stations over 300 miles away with at least 1 workable live. At least 1 opening with no weather radio stations over 400 miles away. Not. I think you got a shot. Maybe if that Tropo kind of squeezes up your way, you got a shot this weekend maybe. 3 to 5 openings across Lake Erie. 1 to 3 openings across Lake Michigan. At least 2 new FM Tropo states and 1 new weather radio Tropo state. 20 new weather band logs within 25 miles of Ann Arbor. That would be really nice. I'd like to see that. For Meteor Scatter, at least one opening with weather band stations over 1,000 miles away. At least one new state on each band, FM. Well, weather radio. Maybe 2 meters. At least 5 FM stations identifiable through RDS and or audio. DX life goals. Some NOAA weather radio e-skip. Oh, yes. FM double hop. I've still yet to get it. In 1994, so we're now at 32 years. 32 years I've been doing FMDX. Never experienced double hop. Tropo over 500 miles on the FM and weather bands. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So a bunch of good logs coming in here on the AM side of things with the frequency challenge, and then some good goals as well. Important to set those goals, get those in place. It's harder to do kind of goals for FM than it is AM. I think AM, like I always had like my one new country, one new state. Could I get it? Usually I was able to, especially when I was earlier on. Now it's a little tougher. But from an FM standpoint, it's harder to do goals because you don't know. I mean, are we going to get 20 openings this year for an individual? We'll see. It's kind of a crapshoot, right? And but what it can do is if you have some of those goals in mind of like, okay, when we get these openings, here's what I want to accomplish. Here's what I'm hoping to be able to do. It kind of laser focuses you in, so when you get what the thing that you're looking for, you can be more prepared and more methodical about how you kind of approach getting that DX in your logbook, if that's the pursuit that you want to do. So well done, my friend. Well done. Hearing 1650 KBJD in Denver. Well, let's take a gander over here and see if we can do that. While we're about to pull that up, that was 1650. I don't think I've heard them here. Maybe I have. Let's go ahead and do my shout-outs for the week, and then we'll spend the rest of our time DXing. How about that? That sounds fun. New FM this week. New FM logs. We're now sitting at 1,647 total stations heard here from Mandeville since 2023. Since April 20th, 2023. That was our first log day that we did here. 1,647 stations, and the most recent of those was KZAR in Gonzales, Texas, which is over towards San Antonio. K-Love station on 97.7 last night, thanks to some Tropo, so that's a new log for us. That puts me at, let's see, where were we on Texas? Texas, 149 stations heard from the state of Texas on FM here. Most of that's Tropo. Very little e-skip. A little bit of meteor scatter, but almost all that's Tropo. Almost every bit of that. So that was a new one for us here on the FM side of things. That was just last night. On the AM side of things, we've had a little bit better week as we were doing kind of the frequency challenge and some of the alerts that we were getting in the Slack channel from folks like Jacob, who is an absolute magnet for, hey, this station shouldn't be on and they're on right now, or they should be on a different lower power, but they're on their full power. Like this guy, it's like he gets a little text message and notification in his head to go look at these things. I don't know. I mean, he gets them all. So we got one of those this week from him, thanks to him. It was KFNW in West Fargo, North Dakota on 1200. That was only the second station from North Dakota that I've heard here in Mandeville. But thanks to Jacob for the alert on that one. They were in very, very brief. There was a dead period on WOAI as they were doing some Spurs coverage. There was a little brief period of dead air. Right in that, I just happened to be recording on a Kiwi up in that neck of the woods. Heard their audio, matched it up with my audio, and had a match. There it was. Magic. Also this week, WPJK in Orangeburg, South Carolina was sitting on 1580. For the challenge, and got a new one from South Carolina, Orangeburg. Used to hear them when I was down there, but first time hearing them here in Louisiana. And then WBOL 1560 in Bolivar, Tennessee. That was a really good one because normally 1560 is covered up for me here by KGOW down in the Houston area. So to be able to get a new station on 1560, that's very welcome here. That does not happen very often because sunset, sunrise, there's KGOW already just booming in because I'm so close to them. So there you go. So 3 new ones on the AM side of things and one on the FM. We'll take it. So I don't know, Jacob, if it was someone did a TEF that was doing HD, or if they were using like some other. I think they were using like some kind of separate software decoder that was kind of plugged into the web server. I'd have to go find it. If I find that web server that has it, I'll put that into the Slack channel. There's one web server I think that has HD capabilities utilizing this separate offboard decoder to be able to decode the HD signals coming in. So that would be really cool, though, to be able to have that and be able to put up I would do a separate one just for HD if that was an option. If that was an option, just to do it at like an HD. Everything you hear is just for be able to decode HD. I would put up another web server just for that, so folks can do that for our local HD and also for getting HD stuff coming in on DX. That would be really, really cool. Speaking of DX, let's do some. Let's finish up the rest of our night here on the bands. And our friend Barry just mentioned that Colorado is coming in nicely on 1650. So while we still have the northwest side of the Kaz up on the shortwave Central Kiwi, let's take a gander at that. This DX session brought to you by, we're not doing FM, we're doing AM. We might do a little FM. This one's brought to you by, though, the folks at the Spectrum Monitor, thespectrummonitor.com. Just put another column to rest here for the April issue, so I'll have a column on AM and FM DX in the April issue coming up in the Spectrum Monitor. So if you want to take a look at that and read it, then thespectrummonitor.com is where you'll want to go once that hits the streets here in a couple weeks. I think a week or two. We'll have that out there. All right, let's look at 1650 and see what we hear.
Points. They're up to 34 points before scoring. The practical purposes, barring a big comeback by the NTDP U17, who trailed the Omaha Lancers 4-1 after two periods. Omaha will stay a point in front of Waterloo. That score still results in anything. This would be an Omaha Lancers victory. Meanwhile, the NCC developing Rams Falls. Five record now between the U17 and U18s to 13-35 and 5-31 points. Conference, and it will remain 8 regardless of what happens in that game.
Well, I'm trying to pull up some Kiwis, but the Kiwi map is not loading. Oh, here it comes.
The Blackhawks get 2 from Caden Russell, also a goal from Nash Road, his first in the USHL.
So my guess is we have KONZ here in Nebraska. I hear some Spanish in there, though, which is either El Paso or Colorado. If I can get this other Kiwi to pull up.
Next up, a rematch. The Hawks and the U18s. And Waterloo has the same opportunity that they had last Saturday.
Or I'm sorry, not Nebraska, Iowa. Sorry, KCNZ. I was getting my call signs mixed up. KCNZ in Nebraska, Iowa. So I've pulled up, here is a Kiwi up in Colorado, and here's what I'm talking about when I talk about the, let me mute this really quick, when I talk about the parallel technique. Some of you guys have seen this in action before. So the first thing I do is I take the target, the station, the Kiwi that's near the station that I'm trying to hear, and I throw it to my right ear. Because that's just, it works, for me, it works best in my right ear. You can play around with it and try it out and see if it works better in your left, but for me, this is what I do. And then I'll pull this one a little bit volume-wise, a little bit higher than my Kiwi that I'm working off of, or my radio. Then from my Kiwi, my radio, I'm going to throw it to my left ear. And I'm going to pull that volume down just a little bit so I have enough where I can hear it, but I'm trying to see if there's an echo between their Kiwi and mine. So let's see what we got.
Él está hablando ahora con Saúl en el versículo 14 del capítulo 24. ¿Qué aprendió de esa canción?
So I'll pull this one down just a little. For Kiwis, I like to put them in the SAS mode because that way I'm getting that kind of like pseudo stereo separation kind of feel. This guy's got multiple antennas. AM broadcast band attenuated. Yeah, that definitely attenuated the band. So this is on his ALA 1530 loop. Oh yeah, that you're right. I got my frequencies mixed up, Rick. I was thinking of yours and saying the other one.
A couple of connection issues, but very glad to have Tucker helping us bring you this broadcast to Blackhawks hockey. Yeah, Tucker Johnson. I'm Tim Harwood.
He might be in there.
The Blackhawks 3, the national team under 18 development program with 2. And Blackhawks fans, we wish you a good night. Joy be with you all.
Hey, Stuart.
Waterloo Blackhawks hockey on the Courtyard by Marriott Radio Network. Tonight's game was brought to you by
I want to hear.
Maple Lake and Cadillac XBC. Kevin Cookright, Ted's Home Hardware. T&K Midwest. Dominant.
Yeah, no.
Slumberland Furniture. Homemaker Storage. Lightning Pet Solutions. Iowa Heartland Habitat for Humanity. Meridian Credit Union. And Georgia.
I don't hear anything from him. So no sign of Colorado here on 1650. Unless that, I mean, that could be him down there super weak.
Thanks for listening to the previous special sports presentation on The Fan. We now rejoin regular programming already in progress.
But I think it's El Paso. That sounds like sports, not religion. Yeah, that's sports.
Tune in to Maximum Mornings with Mark Simpson, 6 to 8, for the latest on our metro area press.
I took Missouri plus 2.
1649.969.
A big game from senior guard Mark Mitchell tonight. He scored 32 each of the last 2 times out against Arkansas and Kentucky. I think you said you were leaning toward Miami in this game.
I think Miami's slightly better, but the home
Yeah, that would be them right here. This trace, that is super, super weak.
So UCF with a chance as a 3 Midlands here. We'll see what the call is.
I'm going to do a West Central Texas Kiwi.
As we know, I think they have to call the foul. It's going to be a foul.
Anyway, go ahead.
ACC's 0-7 in the tournament against the spread. So take that for what it's worth. These ACC teams have not played well here. I would at least.
They're getting a lot of Iowa. I would have thought they'd have been getting more El Paso. Let me try a Lubbock one here. No. So I wonder. Let me try one more. I'm going to try Austin.
That's a good point. On the offensive end, how are you even in the game in the final 30?
Yeah, it's all Iowa.
Three Stooges are watching on the monitor, but it looks like a referee review here with 22 seconds left. Oh, is Cronin challenged? I don't know what's going on. Anyway, talking about tonight's game, Missouri, Miami. I have Missouri plus 2. You lean Miami a little bit on that one. Were you coerced or? persuaded by the bear. Does the bear like the Hurricanes tonight?
See how tall the offset is on the spectrum? Yeah.
Towards the Hurricanes, I haven't
pretty weak.
I know he's in
Oh, yeah, that's decent.
On a cruise or something. I think he leaned towards Miami, and he had the same sort of feel where, I don't want to speak for him, but I think the home court aspect kept him off of it. But if I had to bet it, I would actually take Missouri plus the points. So how much time until that game starts? I might add Missouri here in some form or fashion because I think you make a good case. The ACC has struggled. This game is in St. Louis. This is, you've twisted my arm here. I don't want to twist your arm.
I'm not going to twist your arm.
All right, let's go down here to pick up where I left off here on my band scan that I'm doing. 1550. So I've gone into our dashboard. I'm filtering down for Lloyd only on my progress monitor here. And we're picking up at 1550 down here. I'm starting from the top and working my way back up. I would pull up the TEF web server that we have here for AM that I put up here on my local network, but we had that echo. But just know this is what I'm DXing off of right now. Keeping an eye on the RDS. Starting to get a little bit more of a northerly push here on our omnidirectional 65-foot high antenna. This is on the shortwave central Kiwi. Now we also have our Kiwi here, here at North Shore Studios. And let's just see what we're getting here on a couple of our antennas. Here's Southeast. This is pretty much the exact opposite direction of what we were just listening to. Rick's got said he didn't get these in time for shout-outs. You can always submit, man. You can always put those in. Did get 2 new AMs here this week. KFXN, that is 690 Minneapolis, and KDZA 1230 in Pueblo, Colorado. Now 133. My eyes suck. 133 graveyarders here in South Omaha. So shout-outs for our friend, Mr. Rick Dow. And I gotta go to this thing so I can do this thing. There we go. There you go, man. Well done, well done, well done. 1330. Or 330. There we go. I know who this is. Lale. Yep, that's them.
sí pienso que hay que hacer muchas cosas para tratar de no llegar a tocar fondo en algún momento. Y bueno, como tú decías, es un árbol con varias ramas. El béisbol cubano es un árbol con varias ramas.
Sigue el béisbol cubano, Pablo, desde tu punto de
I think we also have the RHC in here down in Miami. Doral. Oh, nope, they're religious now.
Figura de que esa es la principal causa de que el béisbol nuestro haya perdido tanto nivel. Digo, el béisbol nuestro no, la serie nacional nuestra. Es la principal causa. El béisbol nuestro no, es que nosotros tenemos muchos peloteros en el mundo entero. En el mundo entero tenemos muchos peloteros. Entonces, no podemos hablar de un deporte en crisis cuando seguimos. Fíjate cuántos peloteros nosotros cortamos de gratis. Y la serie
Not Cuba.
Y la serie nacional todavía es difícil armar un. Y que en nuestra serie nacional incluso que la gente dice que
No, that's Rebeldi. That's Rebeldi on top on 1550. It has been quite a while.
Que no sea la mayoría, correcto. Pero
It has been a considerable amount of time since I heard Rebeldi on this frequency. So if you don't have Rebeldi on 1550, this might be a good chance to go get them.
DX Central Live, top of the hour alert.
There we go. Let me just sneak a peek. Nah, it's still my local on 1540. There's no shot at Bahamas here. My local is on when they shouldn't be. Pretty sure the second station in there, so the one with the call-in is Rebeldi. The one with the music underneath should be Tampa, to be AMA. Lale. The one with the music underneath is Rick. The one on top here that's doing the call-in, that's Rebeldi. One of the outlets on Rebeldi. This is a little mini wall. It used to be a huge wall. And why is there a mini wall on 1550? Because of WRHC down in Coral Gables, Doral, Florida. Back when they used to run programming towards Cuba. You don't have Kiwa? I always wanted to log those guys. Because in my closet back here is a Kiwa loop.
Pero nosotros hemos tenido, aún con tantas limitaciones, tanto allá como de acá, porque la pelota aplicaba en las dos canchas, las limitaciones están en las dos canchas. Yo pienso que la convocatoria pudo haber sido mejor, pero bueno, sabemos que muchos peloteros dijeron que no a última hora, las causas las sabemos. El día que llegue el momento, que Cuba pueda tener una selección conformada por los mejores peloteros del mundo, que nadie se niegue, que todo el mundo esté dispuesto, que Cuba convoque a todos sin ninguna restricción. Bueno, entonces sí, pienso que intento para demostrar la brillante historia, la gran carrera que tiene en béisbol y podemos hacerle frente a equipos como Dominicana, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Estados Unidos, llevamos eso, porque Cuba...
Yep, that's AMA underneath with the music. And now we're just waiting on Rebeldi to do their ID. See you, Master Player.
la supercalidad que tenía aquel equipo, hay mucha gente que añora incluso teniendo todo lo que el equipo que está mencionando, sus restricciones, llegarán a esta época drásticamente. Y eso está claro, se va a llegar a los tienen que tener un conocimiento deportivo actual. Por supuesto, eso no existe en ningún país, en ningún deporte del mundo, eso no existe. Esa época brillante que muchos de nuestros padres, abuelos disfrutaron y nosotros de niños cogimos algún retraso. Esto no se va a repetir más nunca, de que Cuba llevaba 40 años ganando todo, eso no se repite. Entiendo que no le referiramos a Panamá, la historia evidente de esos peloteros, de Cuba, que disfrutamos muchísimo, pero eso no así sexualmente, eso no existe. Entiendo que Cuba puede tener una supermasa en el béisbol, tampoco vamos a llegar nunca a ese momento, porque supermasa en el béisbol, la dominicana, la tiene también dominicana, Venezuela, Estados Unidos, tipo de ganador perder con el aquí en este momento sería la felicidad total. Y estoy seguro para remarcar el ciudad americano,
It's enormous, Rick. It's huge. We had one, I want to say it was 94, 95 when Dad picked that up. And, man, I got some good DX on that thing. Back when you could put an antenna inside your shack and get DX. Like, good DX. I heard KFI and KNX from Brasstown on a Drake SPR4 in that Kiwa loop, that Kiwa Air Core loop, with it in the shack with us. That's how far we've come. Oh, man. That's my local on 1540. I imagine one of these that we're hearing right now is probably Texas, La Raza here on 1530, KZNX. La Raza. Ohio's probably in here too. Wish I could get WENG though. Ah. There's WYMM in Jacksonville. They just showed up with the reggae. Do you know how bad I wanted a Palomar? I wanted one of those things so bad. And Jerry's Quantum Loop. I did get one of those. They are fantastic. My QX3 still sitting in there. And cabinet over here. Let's go to 1520. We'll just do the 15 so we'll finish out the 1500s. Turn that down a little bit because my ears are ringing here. A couple of stations here in Florida. The NDO with some Haitian. WXYB is usually Greek, Mediterranean. So that's what we usually have here on 1520 to the southeast. $15.10.
Oh, well, thank you for calling. How can we help?
LAC. Let me see if we have. Is this Monumental that's underneath them? Or is this Guatemala, who has been much more common lately? NPR on 640. Yeah, that sounds like WOI. Looks like Radio Monumental's website is not up right now. So don't know if that's who that is underneath LAC or not. And finishing up here, 1500. Yeah, there are, aren't there? Let me hit on the vertical here, see if we have anything from Minnesota coming in on 1500. The Spanish station in there might be Mexico. I think that other station there in English might be a sports. I'm pretty sure that would make that Minnesota. I am having a time trying to get connected to everyone else's Kiwis tonight. Super, super slow.
6 by Psychos. He'll clear off glass. Tommy's just got to get set up here. Having a tough time entering. 30 seconds gone in the power play. 8:20 to go in the champion. And Murray in the second period.
Yeah, that's KSTP. Yep, that's them. So there you go. That's KSTP on 1500, LAC, and maybe Monumental on 1510, but maybe someone else. Maybe also Mexico here on 1500. 1520, we got a couple Florida stations. 1530, we got Jacksonville in Texas, in addition to Ohio. 1540, my local. We'll figure that out some point this week. 1550, a couple stations in there potentially. Definitely Radio Rebellion and La Ley out of Tampa to close out the 1500s here for us tonight. We'll continue on with our next DX session. When we come back next week, we'll work through the 14s and 13s and 12s. Just keep working our way down until we've gotten to pretty much most of the band, hopefully here during the challenge portion. So, all right, that's going to do it for me tonight. We want to thank our patrons. Patreon.com/DX Central if you want to be part of the crew from Studio C. That's KREWE, by the way. Also, thank you to our sponsors, the International Radio Club of America, IRCA Online, the National Radio Club, nationalradioclub.org, and the Spectrum Monitor, thespectrummonitor.com. And we'll catch you guys next week. We're going to go over here and take a breath after a long, long day. Maybe some DX time. Maybe some time on the couch. Just kind of unplugging for a bit. We'll see. We'll see you guys next week. Take care, my friends. Best of DX. We'll see you in Slack.
Lloyd helps clear the doubts.
This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live.